Hi, I'm Mike Stemple with Mosoro. My background is I've just sold my fourth company 2 weeks ago to 3M called Original Apps. I've built a lot of successful businesses over the years, most notably Skinit, which just last year raised 60 million on a 100 million plus valuation. I have a strong background in mobility, and I wanted to, after the sale of Odojo and Original Apps, get back into the mobile space. So we created a company called Mosoro. And what we do is build small functionality hardware that talks to smartphones, enabling all kinds of really cool business models. So at the basic level, we have libraries that developers can put inside of their Android and iPhone apps that allows it to talk to a variety of different pieces of hardware and then communicate that data up to the internet as needed. So we started building out a developer platform, and we had to buy a ton of different hardware. And we started building libraries for accelerometers and gyroscopes and a variety of other things. And to actually build those libraries, we started building these really small little functional things. And then we found that when we took it out to the market, the people were more interested in our small little functional little things than the actual libraries themselves. And so our business has kind of changed over the years. Right now, we're courting smartphone developers primarily, but we also still work with hardware developers. And then on top of our small functionality hardware, we actually work with some of our brand friends to actually create commercialized solutions and bring them out to the marketplace. So let me talk about a few of our apps. Our first one out of the gate is going to be called Mosoro 3D. It's actually this size. And what it does is it has a gyroscope, magnometer, and an accelerometer in it. So basically, it allows you, as it moves in 3 dimensions, it renders that on an iPhone and Android device. So some of the ways that we're working with partners to develop solutions is we're working with a major brand that's actually going to attach this little puck to snowboards and skateboards, allowing the kid to be able to record their tricks and compare it to pros. We're also working with people who are taking the same little piece of hardware, putting it on a fly rod, for example, to teach you how to cast correctly. We're also working with someone that's going to put it on kids' nighties to measure if the child rolls over in the middle of the night, which is a strong indicator of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, and it'll alert your cell phone. We're also working with another developer that's making a virtual drum kit and a variety of other things, all off the same single piece of hardware. We have another piece of hardware, same size, that measures temperature, humidity, and barometric pressure. And that communicates to an Android or an iPhone device, and allows you to get your local weather, obviously. But what's really exciting is it allows you to share that data up to the internet with your GPS coordinates of your device. So we're actually inventing the idea of crowdsourced weather that moves geographically around as you move. We have another product called Mosoro Talk. We decided to reinvent stuffed animals. I got tired of intelligent stuffed animals where you put the technology inside of the toy to make it cool. What we've decided to do is abstract it out. And we actually have a little pendant, again, same size as this, different form factor, goes around any stuffed animal's neck, and it actually allows a developer to build, for example, an app store. So someone could go on and download an audiobook off their mobile phone, send it to the pendant, and the pendant has a speaker and a microphone, and it will play back an audiobook for your child. Then, all kinds of Mosoro-enabled toys could be at, say, a child's birthday party. One parent can sync to all the different teddy bears in the room, download a story, and each teddy bear will read a different character's voice. Kind of some cool stuff. And thank you. Another cool feature we have is the minute we put the smartphone into the equation, we can open up some really cool pieces of technology. So for example, we're working on a product called Group Talk, Me Talk, that allows a soldier in Afghanistan to read to his child, save that file over the internet, downloads all the way back here to America to the smartphone that the other parent has, and the child will be able to hear the story in the missing soldier's voice. Pretty cool. I've licensed every major brand in the world. I've been very successful at building companies based upon brands, and we're working with some of these brands right now. I also have a lot of experience working with a who's who of large companies. Companies like Best Buy, every carrier in the country, and every major car company in the world has been customers of mine at some time or another. And finally, we're going to be offering demo days where we actually make the hardware available. People can play with it over the weekend. And then I'm bringing all my brand and retail friends and some of the VCs I know in so they can actually see what developers could build. And then I'm going to help match up a brand with distribution, with a VC funding, and then launch a cool product based upon Mosoro hardware. And that's Mosoro. Just really quick, the little car That's the size of a dime. That's a product we're launching at Toy Fair next year. It's the size of a dime squared. We actually, robotics makes a ball that rolls on the floor. We thought it'd be a little more interesting to make something the size of a dime that can be controlled by your phone on the tabletop. And we're actually talking to game developers to incorporate that into board games where you play virtually on your phone around the table and the game pieces move. So we're doing some cool stuff with that.
How about some questions in the back?
What's your wireless technology? Is it Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, both?
We're agnostic to the signal, but we prefer Bluetooth just because it's really easy to pair, and once it's paired, it's remembered. Wi-Fi creates a little latency in the network, so we do have some products that utilize Wi-Fi, but mostly Bluetooth.
Talk a little bit about the hard drive too, because I think that's an important part of that.
Yeah, so all of our products, we actually put memory into them. So for example, the thermometer, you can actually go out, and if you don't have your phone handy, it records all that data, and then when it syncs up, it downloads all the data. And we do that with the 3D. For example, I was talking to someone that works with Lance Armstrong, and they're going to use both our temperature and 3D on the bikes to measure the performance of the bike during a race and create a new timeline of data that corresponds to the GPS, the heart rate, and everything else they're currently recording.
I think Larry likes those. He's got a good face. In the back?
Battery's going to be a huge issue. What are you guys doing about that?
For example, on the thermometer app, we only turn the Bluetooth radio on every 5 minutes. So that really limits the amount of battery drain. We have both, and just so you know, I brought the 3D with me, so if you want to play with it, come see me afterwards. But for example, with the 3D product, we have a AAA version and a lithium rechargeable version. And we did that for a lot of the surf apps that we're building for the 3D to measure how your board moves on the waves. It's not connected to a phone. AAA battery makes a lot more sense for that one.
Yeah.
And something like that, how does the sound come out of the speakers?
Yeah, there's actually it's like a Bluetooth headset with a bigger speaker. We also put an accelerometer because we don't like buttons on things. We like them smooth. So you shake it to turn it on, tilt the bear to the left to rewind, tilt it to the right to fast forward, lay it down to pause, innovative stuff like that.
In the front?
Is it accurate to say that you're the new Willy Wonka?
Actually, I was out in the valley, and a VC came up after my pitch and actually says, "You're kind of like a Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, Willy Wonka. Gene Wilder, not Johnny Depp." And I was like, that was pretty cool.